Hello folks, welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am your host Tom Downey, back again with all the latest news and rumors around your Dallas Cowboys. So first up, let's talk about Randy Gregory. Is a return going to happen? I'll stick with giving this one 2 stars, though it is closer to 3 than it is like 1 or whatever, how the math works out there. Now for Gregory, he does plan to file for reinstatement in the coming days, which is good news, especially because Gregory has not failed a drug test since he was suspended the most recent time by the NFL. And Gregory's camp, per the Dallas Morning News, is hopeful that he's able to return in time for training camp. Now, even if Gregory is reinstated, there could be a suspension involving games tacked onto the current indefinite one that he's facing right now. Now, many of us are in agreement here. NFL needs to change its drug policies. It really doesn't make a lot of sense. And for someone like Randy Gregory, who's not a violent person by any means, it's an addiction and it's a depression and it's an anxiety thing for him. That's partially his issues there. Being away from the Cowboys doesn't help. When you take him away from his support structure, it's not a good thing. So for Gregory, who deals with that anxiety, NFL lets you in on a secret. Not having stable income often gives you more anxiety. So the Cowboys being forced to stay away from Gregory, I guess Gregory being forced to stay away from the Cowboys, doesn't actually help him. Now, I know it's against the rules and all of that. I understand that. But the NFL does appear open to changes here. So why not make Gregory the example of its new softer rules? Josh Gordon could be one of those as well. So in the end, I do think Gregory gets reinstated. I don't know when it's officially announced. I don't know how many games get tacked on top of that. I don't know if there's another issue Gregory will run into down the road. But in the end, I do think Gregory gets reinstated. And in that scenario, an already good Cowboys pass rush looks even more dangerous. But let me know what you guys think. Type 1 for yes and 0 for no. Let's stick on the defensive line here. Will there be a rotational role for Tristan Hill in year 1? I think yes. I'm going to give this one 4 stars. It could maybe grow into more, but I think at minimum it's going to be a rotational, and that's the most likely outcome here. In year 1, the round 2 pick should make an impact as that not starter, but still gets plenty of snaps, especially on passing situations. Look, you're not going to throw Antoine Woods out there on most passing downs. So you'll rotate in Tyrone Crawford and Malik Collins and Tristan Hill when you use 2 interior defensive linemen. And I don't know if Hill becomes a starter in year 1. By the way, the 3 sacks in college, a little bit deceptive. He's a better pass rusher and more disruptive in that role than the pure numbers indicate from his time at UCF. So I don't know if Hill becomes a starter right away. I don't think he maybe becomes a starter in the first half of year 1. That might be a little bit too high of expectations, given Crawford is there, Antoine Woods is there, and Malik Collins is still there as well. But you will see Hill playing a rotational role to open things up in year 1. And as a second-round pick, that's really what you're aiming for. Most second-round picks don't become instant stars, especially when they were drafted by a playoff team. All right, folks, do you like the Cowboys Report? Make sure you are subscribed. Training camp is coming up. Then it's the preseason. We're going to keep you covered with all things on the Dallas Cowboys, so make sure you're subscribed. If you're watching on YouTube, just hit that big red button. Let's stick on defense here. Contract talk time. Are there no worries for Jaylon Smith on his upcoming deal? I'll give this one 3 stars. I believe Jaylon Smith when he says this. At the same time, it's probably a little bit at the back of his mind, like, yeah, it'd be nice to just have that out of the way, but I don't think he's overly concerned about it. Smith says that when it's time for Jerry Jones to cut the check, it will happen. And he just has to embrace where he's at, and he's blessed for sure, which that's exactly what you want to hear out of your star linebacker. Now, Jaylon Smith will be an RFA, a restricted free agent, next offseason. Not this coming season. It'll be an RFA, not a true unrestricted guy. So the Cowboys do have that extra year in terms of flexibility when it comes to extending him. The biggest question is what that deal is going to look like. C.J. Mosley this year broke the market. $17 million per year, way more than Anthony Barr, way more than Quan Alexander, more than Luke Kuechly, Bobby Wagner. So what does that extension look like for Jaylon Smith? I don't think it's $17 million. I think it's under that, maybe it's more around that $13 million range. Of all the Cowboys who are coming up for new contracts, Zeke, Amari, Dak, Byron Jones, list goes on. If you're making me pick one player who is the most likely to be willing to do a team-friendly deal, I kind of think it is Jaylon Smith. Now, team-friendly is still probably going to be like 13, 14, but as long as it's under 17, that's a great value given what C.J. Mosley just got. So I do believe Jaylon when he says he's not worried about his deal right now. Frankly, I'm just glad he's healthy and able to play out there right now. So that's the latest there on Jaylon Smith. All right, different question for you guys. What's your favorite ice cream? Let me know in the comment section. I personally am a big fan of any type of like vanilla, if there's peanut butter in there, and then I just take a bunch of peanut butter and throw it in there and mix it all up. It is absolutely delicious, and that's my favorite one there. Let me know what you guys think. I doubt there'll be actually very many vanilla comments in there. Maybe like chocolate and other flavors, but maybe I'm alone on the vanilla stand. Producer Brett's giving me a weird look right now, so that's where we're at. All right, more contract talk here. Should the Cowboys not extend Dak Prescott? Oh, look, we're back with this one. Again, I'll give it 1 star. There is a little bit of truth to this discussion in the sense that in a bubble, Dak's not really a top 10 quarterback, although we know that bubbles and how contracts are negotiated are actually two very different things. And I do think there's an argument to be made about paying so much to a quarterback with the way those contracts continue to rise. It's a lot of money to pay to one individual player, although the salary cap is still pretty high. But my biggest problem with this discussion is everyone that says, don't pay Dak, he's not worth it. Well, what's the alternative, guys? Hey, look, when Carson Wentz makes 32 and Matt Ryan makes 30 and Jared Goff's about to get paid, the going rate for a franchise quarterback is $32 million. That's where you're starting. If he takes it for 33, awesome, it's a steal. 34, okay, Dak definitely won those negotiations. So for the Cowboys, it is either roll with Dak Prescott as your franchise quarterback, or you run the risks of going back to the Chad Hutchinson era. I don't know about you. I don't want that anymore. Give me Dak at 32 versus going back to that era. Like, it is very difficult to actually find legitimate franchise quarterbacks. The Cowboys didn't want Dak first. They wanted Paxton Lynch. Then they wanted Connor Cook. And those dudes are already out of the NFL. So there is an argument to be made that the quarterback contracts are out of control. I understand that. But the flip side is, if you're trying to win games right now, which is what you have in Dak Prescott, you're in the middle of your quarterback window, in your Super Bowl window, you're better off keeping Dak. So, look, if you guys don't want to pay Dak, I get it. I know the sticker shock is there. But what's your plan at quarterback? Let me know what it is. Because I haven't really seen it go. And I've seen people throw out the idea of, like, trading away Dak to get a higher draft pick, which, like, doesn't really work this upcoming year because sign-in trades aren't a thing in the NFL like they are the NBA. Teams aren't going to want to pay Dak any quarterback really $32 million and then give away a bunch of high picks too. And even then, are you guaranteed to get a legitimate quarterback? It's tough to find a rookie quarterback who plays as well as Dak. Look at Sam Darnold, number 3 overall pick. Dak was better last year, plain and simple. So if you don't want to pay Dak, let me know what your plan is because I haven't seen a great one yet. All right, so to everybody's favorite random tight end, Rico Gathers. Does he not get a fair shot? I'm gonna nip this in the bud now. This is fake news, guys. So this actually comes to us, by the way, from Rico Gathers. Here's his quote via Instagram. I can't control where I'm at on a predetermined depth chart. When opportunity presents itself, I'll shine, like he did in the playoff game when he dropped the pass against the Rams. Now, Rico's claim, let's go bit by bit here. The predetermined depth chart. At some level, yes. Like, Jason Witten comes in and is the starter. That's like a thing unless he's a complete disaster in camp. But Rico has battled against Blake Jarwin. He's battled against Dalton Schultz. Here's my single biggest issue with this quote from Rico Gathers. It's another example of Rico saying, it ain't me, it's everybody else that's the problem here. Imagine being Rico Gathers, a 6th-round pick in 2016. You've had 3 off seasons and three training camps. Now you're entering your 4th one. You've had 3 years, and it's a tough adjustment to playing college basketball and not playing football and moving to the NFL. Rico continues to believe he's actually the best tight end on the roster. He just hasn't got a shot to prove it yet. 8 targets last year, 3 catches, 45 yards, and that drop in the playoffs. Now, there definitely should have been a touchdown. Dak did miss him with a little bit of pressure. Rico should have had a touchdown in that game. I do think, though, it's noteworthy that after week 8 of the NFL season, in the regular season, Rico had 1 target. He simply didn't play as much. So here's my question to you guys. Does Rico actually get a fair shot? Has he been given one? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. We also posted this, by the way, on our YouTube channel. So we have the poll results, and these will probably change by the time you watch this because that's how voting and math works out. 62% said yes, 38% said no. Here my final point on this, guys. For most of those of you who said no, the Rico high, which I guess does still exist after all. Which is more likely? In 3 years of practice and preseason games and some game reps, Rico Gathers simply hasn't shown enough in practice and not playing football for years, or mean old Jason Garrett is keeping Rico Gathers down, hurting his own team, and jeopardizing his own job. Which is more likely here, guys? Come on. All right, last rumor here for you guys. Jeff Heath, is he starting? I'll give this one 3 stars, and it's 3 instead of 2 because if the season started today, Jeff Heath would be your starter. But it's also July still. So Heath is your current starter because of experience, and the coaching staff definitely trusts Heath. Now, there is the missed tackles. I get it, guys. But it is still early, and there is time for somebody else to emerge. Maybe it's George Iloka, which I know many of you guys want. Maybe Kevon Frazier gets healthy and makes an impact. Maybe it's 6th-round pick Donovan Wilson. But I am not panicking about Jeff Heath being the starter because it is July. Yes, he is your listed starter right now. Today, that's how it would be because he knows the defense. The coaching staff trusts him despite all of those missed tackles that kind of drive everyone here insane because maybe he shouldn't close his eyes with tackles. Anyway, Heath is your starter with a big asterisk of for now. We'll see what happens in camp and in the preseason. If the Cowboys want to even add somebody else, which I think is a bit of a long shot right now. But that's where we sit right now with Jeff Heath as the Cowboys starting strong safety with, of course, Xavier Woods as your free safety. All right, folks, make sure you are subscribed to us here on YouTube. Link is below. And if you're watching on YouTube as well, another one's coming up for you guys to click in just a second. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.